many times have I recorded this video? Too many times because I keep forgetting key details. Oh God. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and I hope you're doing good. I hope you're making it through and hanging in there. So basically, I'm just doing this video. Basically, this is a life update slash diagnosis of multiple sclerosis for myself. And yeah, so if you don't know what multiple sclerosis is, it's basically when your immune system attacks the myelin sheet around your nerves. And yeah, so basically this is my story up to this point of what has happened, and a lot has happened. My life has changed quite a bit. So yeah. So back, if I can, I have to think back, because first of all, things were affected that I didn't even know until like I gained more knowledge and learned more about, what was going on. So forgive me if I like stare off, if I just forget, or because this thing is something in itself. It really, really is. But if I would have to think back to when I really started having symptoms, basically when I started getting really bad migraines, and this was like, I'm gonna say mid last year, and I used to drink coffee a lot. So I cut out the caffeine. They kind of minimized it and kind of went away. I would get one every now and then, that time of the month, that. But other than that, they kind of went away. So I remember later on, I got up with some friends and I was talking to them, and I was like, I keep having this dizziness and I don't know what's going on. And it's just like, it came out of nowhere. And I know one of my friends was like, well, maybe it's vertigo. And I was like, no, I don't think it's vertigo, because I can kind of like, manage it a little bit, but it's just, it keeps coming and going. And she said, well, maybe equilibrium's like, maybe you should get your ears checked. I was like, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I definitely would do that. So I remember going forward, at the time I'm going to work, and I'm just so tired. I remember like fighting not to fall asleep at the desk. And I'm just like, okay, because at the time, I'm working at a hospital, I'm working in medical records, so I'm on a computer and everything like that. And I'm like, I can barely keep my eyes open. This is crazy. So just going forward, as I think, you have to, I guess going through it now, I've had time to really sit and think back. I was like, man, I was really going through stuff back then. I just didn't pay no mind. So I remember one day, particularly, I was at the gas station and I was going to go do some overtime at work. And from where I live, it's about a 30-40 minute drive, because I live in the county and you got to drive downtown basically to the hospital. That's where I was working. And it was like, I was in this fog. I cannot explain it. It was just like, I could see and everything, but I was just like in this trance. And something was just telling me like, don't even go down there. Go ahead, go back in the house. Get some rest. Because something's not right. So I did that. I went in the house. I don't even think I did overtime today, because I did have an option to work from home as well. I know I didn't mention it. But yeah, so I did that. I'm like, okay. Later on, I'm gonna say probably around my dad's birthday, which was in October, we had went out to eat. We went to Fogo de Chao, and I did not have an appetite. It was really, really strange. Like I ate a little bit, but I was like, something's wrong. I'm like, it's of course it's not like me. And I was just like, okay. And I just was tired. I was really tired. This fatigue was just crazy. And I was like, okay. And I remember us be celebrating and everything like that. And I remember right after that, I was at home and I kept having like this tightness. I guess I felt like I was having a panic attack. So I kind of like just let it do his thing and talk myself out of it, and then I was moving forward. I remember going to work and I did not feel good. I didn't feel right. I was like, I think I need to go to the emergency room. So my supervisor at the time, sorry if you hear that cutting in the background, they cutting the grass out there, of course. But anyway, my supervisor, she walked me to the emergency room because I was feeling this tightness around my chest, and I was like, God, I hope I'm not having a heart attack. I don't know what's going on, but I just don't feel good. So I went, got an EKG done. They gave me an IV bag and everything. I guess I was dehydrated or something, and I felt better after that. They was like, your heart looks good, and pretty much sent me on my way. I was only in there for like 2 hours, which was not bad. I was grateful, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go home and rest and just chill for the rest of the day. And I remember I left and I went and I had got like some food from Fridays. Didn't even eat it. I was like, something going on. I don't know what it is, but something's definitely going on. Oh my gosh, fast forward. I'm sitting in the house, like with the family and everything like that, and with my husband, and we're like talking, and I'm feeling like that the same thing is going on again, and I'm having that tightness around my chest, and I was really scared. I was just like, am I having a heart attack? Like I don't know what this is. And I mean, I had him doing, like, I kept taking my blood pressure. I mean, I was using my watch to, count my beats per minute. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I was crying, and I was scared to go to sleep because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to wake up. Like, it was like that. And I was like, okay. And then I remember I went back into the emergency room. Now, at the same time, I had just started blood pressure medicine, right? And I didn't even like it. I didn't like the way it made me feel or whatever. And I remember they switched it. This is when my right eye had went totally blurry. I could not see out of it. And I was just like, OMG, this blood pressure medicine is making me go blurry. Like, is this? And now that, this is going on, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh no, they're gonna have to switch me off of this. I'm going to do something else because I can't, I gotta be able to see. The whole experience of the emergency room, it was like a circus. It really was. Because this is around like COVID and everything like that's going on. It was just a lot. And I mean, people were in there, they was fussing out the nurses fussing out each other, you know what I'm saying? I'm in there, I'm scared, I'm frustrated. And I was talking to this young lady that was next to me, and she was just like, I told her which medicine I was on, blood pressure medicine I was on. She's like, I've been on that, and I had blurriness in my eye too. I said, that's what I'm like, you know what, I'm telling you, because I've never had the blurriness before. So I'm just like, until I started taking this medicine. So she was like, yeah, she's like, it could be that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Finally, they called me back there. I'm in the back. When I'm telling y'all I'm in there, I'm flooded, I'm crying, like I feel bad. The anxiety is on 10, you know what I'm saying? I can't see, I don't feel good. I'm just in the ER praying like, God, please help me get through this, because it's just, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And so I was thankful that, like, I had a great nurse, even though it was just people back there, it was this lady, she was screaming, God, I just felt so bad for her. And she said she need help and all that. And it's just, it was a lot. And so, she was just like, they came back, they, looked at my eye, and she was basically like, well, you don't have any broken blood vessels or anything in your eye looks fine. And they get another EKG, because the way I was feeling, like this tightness in my chest, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so they basically gave me, and I was nauseated at the time. Again, it's all these things happening, and I don't know why. So she gave me some nausea medicine. Oh God, I had a yeast infection at the time. I remember TMI, I'm sorry. They gave me something for that. It was just a whirlwind. And yeah. So after I got it, I spent the night in the ER room going into Thanksgiving last year. I was like, God, okay. Went home, still couldn't eat. I mean, I ate a little. I had to force it down because the sensation when you get hungry. But I just didn't want to eat. I was like in that sense, like I don't care. I can't do it. Oh my gosh. So going forward, I had called my doctor, and I mean, I probably was getting on her. I know I was getting on her nerves because I just didn't know what was going on. I was constantly leaving her messages. I was like, "Can you please call me back?" And I finally went and I got a doctor's appointment. Went in, and they was like, "Your white blood white blood cell count is up. Do you have an infection?" And I was just like, I don't know. How would I know? I said the only thing I knew about was like a yeast infection, which is that can happen, whatever. And they was like, oh, okay. They was like, well, we're gonna switch your blood pressure again. So my blood pressure has been switched 3 times until I finally got on I think it's Lasardian. I think I'm on now. And they was like, we're gonna switch you to that. I was like, okay. And in the meantime, this wasn't my primary care physician. This was another doctor that I seen, but I ended up seeing my primary care physician right after that. And she was like, you know what, I'm going to send you to a neurologist. And I was just like, why? For what? Like, what am I going to a neurologist for? I was like, it's that blood pressure medicine. And she's like, just by like, what's going on with you and how you feel and everything like that, I just, want you to go see one. So by this time, I kid you not, and when this stuff happens, it kind of just comes out of nowhere. And then I had trouble walking. Like, I could not get my footing. I was running and stuff. I had to be assisted walking. I'm saying this is when it started getting real. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. So my husband had to walk with me. He had to, pretty much assist me going to the doctors, to the neurologist. So he went there, he did all these tests, the reflexes, eye test, all the other stuff. And he's like, well, according to how you're walking and your symptoms and everything, it looks like MS. And I was like, say what now? MS. I was like, no, you be shocked because you be just like, no, I didn't think it was anything like that. I'm just thinking like it's this medicine they put me on. I was just really holding on to that. And he was like, well, we're going to do an MRI we have to cancel everything else out before we can diagnose you with that. And I was like, okay. So the whole MRI experience, I was just like, you know what? It's no way, because I think in my family, it's me and my brother. And out of my family, us 4, I was the only one that had never had an MRI before. And so I didn't know anything about it. And they had to help me walk in there to get an MRI. Mind you, I'm having trouble walking. I can't see out of my right eye and everything like that. I'm trying not to cry while I'm in the MRI. It feels like they slide you into this tight space, and then it's noisy. And I thank God, like, it was the lady who was talking to me, and she was just telling me each step. And she's like, if you feel panicky, if you can't do it, hit the little panic button, you'll be okay and everything. And she's like, just try to stay still. And so the first time I got it without contrast, and it came back inconclusive. I had to go back and get another one with contrast, where they shoot this dye in you, and so it can show up on the MRI. I had to stop because I was just like feeling claustrophobic, and I was scared, like I was like having a panic attack type of thing. I had to stop it. I had to go back a 3rd time, and they said, look, we want to do one on your brain and your spine. And I said, okay, but this time I need a bigger one, because everybody's not the same size. So everybody's not going to be comfortable in this small MRI machine. So thank God. I mean, I was praying the whole time because I was just like trying to get through it and trying to stay still. I was just like, Lord, should I move my foot? Like, what if I have an itch? Like, what? It's just like all these things that you think about. It's just crazy. So I finally got through that. And all this was the process. This was around the holidays. So, you know, having to wait until they have an opening and all that because, you know, everybody's on vacation or holiday or whatever. So that's when it was just a weird time. So right after I got that MRI done, I mean, they called me back so fast. It called me back like, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 days. I know it was less than a week. And he was like, yeah, it's MS. And I was like, are you serious? And you know what? I wasn't even like, oh, why me? It wasn't even like that. It was just the fact of I wasn't expecting that. And then at that point, like, what can I do to, you know, manage it or get through it? What's the next step? Because my main thing was to go back to work and get back to life, not knowing that it was going to change my life significantly. And it did. It really did. Because after the diagnosis, that's when everything else started happening. So I remember later on, I started having the anxiety was like, when I say it was on 1,000, it was on 1,000. I was having like I was just in a deep, dark place. Like I didn't want to live, like type of thing. I didn't know what was the purpose, what was the point, because I wasn't able to, you know, engage in life. You know what I mean? And I promise you, if it was not for God, if it was not for him working through people, if it was not for him working through my friends that supported me, will call me, talk to me, my family that just loved on me through this process, I don't know how I would make it through. Oh my gosh, I am trying not to cry. I'm just, because every time I think about it, it just take you there. And I'm telling you, it's like, it's hard to talk about because I don't like to be looked at as weak, one. And that's just me, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's just like, girl, get yourself together and move forward. But this wasn't so simple. So it was so bad. I was scared to be alone. I was scared to be by myself at my own apartment. Like, what's the problem? Like, why are you so afraid? But I was just so scared. So in the meantime, my husband works all the time, pretty much a lot, and my kids are at school. I'm alone by myself. My friends are, you know, they work, you know, they have their lives. And it was like I was back and forth at my parents' house. I would stay with them for some times, and then I would be back home. Then I would stay with them. And I remember one time I was coming down the steps, because they have a, you know, 3-level. I'm just in an apartment. And I was walking down the steps, and I got a spasm. Now, you know how you get a spasm just in your arm? This was a whole body spasm. I said, never in my life had I experienced that. Like, my whole body went into a spasm. And I kind of like fell down the steps, and I was trying to call my dad, but I couldn't even call him because I was just frozen. There's nothing I could do but like let it pass. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I think me just going up and down the steps was just too much, and I was still having walking issues. So I had to hold on to everything or sit down, come down the steps, and it was just too much at the time, and I just didn't realize like what I'm really dealing with. And so I ended up coming back home. Mind you, at the same time, I still can't see stuff. I tell my friends, I'm like, I apologize if I text you and it didn't make sense. A lot of things I had to voice text, voice calls, all that. I couldn't remember things. I mean, I'm gonna just name the symptoms that I've experienced, which is now what I learned is exacerbations. So it was just memory loss. Sometimes I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. I can't remember what I did yesterday. Like, I had to really sit and think about it. I used to be really, really good remembering people's names, and I could remember my license plate number, my license number, social security. Like, I can remember my social security, thank God. But just certain things that, like, now it's just like, if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget. I'm like, please do not ask me what I did last week. It's something I'm not gonna remember. So I've had, like I said, memory loss. I started getting this numb patch in my thigh. I don't know. It just, when I say every day, people was like, "How you doing?" I was just like, I don't know. It's a day by day thing. I really do not know how I'm gonna feel tomorrow. I pray I'm gonna feel okay. But the thing about it was so scary is that I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna feel normal again. I was like, this is really, really something. But yeah, I had the numbness patch. Of course, my the blurriness in my eye, and I tell you, I've been in a public place and broke down crying because I was just so frustrated, and I was just like, I can't. How am I going to live life like this? What am I going to do? It was a spurt of time. I was just waking up, throwing up in the morning. I just out of nowhere, I'm like, well, I gotta throw up. It was crazy. And then learned later that I had like the heat sensitivity, sensitive to cold, sensitive to heat. And I learned that when your body heats up with MS, like it can cause the symptoms to get worse. You know what I mean? So I was just like, this is unreal. And I mean, after that, it was just like I said, it was just like one thing after another. I stopped driving. Oh God, I mean, it was just unreal. I lost my job, and not due to because of me, because of the MS, and I wasn't able to perform the duties that I needed to do. So I prayed and prayed and prayed about it, and I'm telling you, like, I just wanted a chance to try to go back to see if I could do it, and he granted that. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go so you can try, so you can see what I'm talking about. And I got there. I mean, my co-workers at the time, they was trying to help me like see the screen and blowing it up and everything, and I just felt so overwhelmed. And it's just like I couldn't think, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't remember how to get in the system to pull records and all that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is way more than I thought it was gonna be. It's way more than I thought it was gonna be. And I tell you, it's just been a lot. So as time has gone on, I went back to see the neurologist again, and he was like, you know, how's your sight and everything? Is things kind of going back to normal? No. And it was making me angry because I was like, sir, my life is not normal now. My life has changed. It's not your fault, but I'm just saying, like, no, it hasn't gone back to normal. So I remember he did blood tests. I had got so much blood drawn over this time. When I say I was getting tired of being poked, it was ridiculous because they was testing for everything. My vitamin D level was very, very low. And at the time, like, I work in the basement of the hospital, and also I work from home, so I was always indoors, and it was extremely, extremely low. Once he put me back on the vitamin D, it got a lot better. My appetite came back. I had lost, like, I'm gonna say probably 30 pounds. Which wasn't even bad for me because I'm on the heavier side, which I can say I have to see the good in it. That was a good thing because I needed to lose some weight, to be honest. I just didn't want to lose it in this way. But once he put me on the vitamin D, it got so much better. I started taking multivitamins. I've always been anemic, so I've been taking iron and all this other stuff. And it started to get better. And I don't know what the connection is with multiple sclerosis and vitamin D, but please get your vitamin D levels checked, you know, because the sun, the vitamins that, you know, we get from the sun, vitamin D and everything, that it's very important. So if you're not outdoors much, you know what I'm saying, it could affect that. I'm just saying, just take care of your health, you know what I'm saying? Just don't ignore things. Don't put yourself on the back burner, because that's what I used to do. I'm like, I gotta work, I got kids, I got stuff to do. I don't have time for this. I want to travel, I want to do this, but I'm not looking after me. You know what I'm saying? So please definitely do that. But yeah, once I got on the vitamin D, that started to get better. I was just so thankful to be able to eat anything again. I was like, oh, thank you God for that. And like I said, I stopped driving, and I I was really sad. I was like, I just feel like my life is just over. Like, whatever social life I had, like I wasn't hanging out with friends. I was just basically indoors all the time because I couldn't get around myself. My husband does all the driving. He, you know, he had to help me with paperwork because I couldn't see. The sight thing has been like a year process of from where it started. It was really bad, and it was just like it's like it went from bad to like worse, and now by the grace of God it's better. It's not 100%. I don't know if it'll ever go back to 100% because I had 20/20 vision. I had very great vision, and I noticed the difference. But now I can see, but I can't really see, like, I guess in like definition. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you one thing, it's just like, it's always better at night. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it's always better at night. But however, I'm just thankful to be able to see at this point. We take so much for granted, and I mean it, from walking to, I don't care, from talking to eating to being able to do things, being able to wash yourself, being able to do the normal things that you do every day. We take that for granted. So yeah, it has been quite, I'm not going to say an adventure, but it's been quite, it's been rough. But I just thank God that I'm just here to, you know, I'm just making it through it day by day. So people are like, oh, well, you look good. I'm like, well, that's by God's grace. That's not me, because I don't feel like I look good. I can't even see. I hope my face look right. I don't be knowing. I really don't be knowing. I just, like I said, I go day by day. So yeah, I really am so truly thankful to my friends. If you're watching, I really thank God for all you guys for, you know, calling and checking up on me. And even my friends that took the time to get me out of the house, or, you know, took me somewhere to eat when I was able to, you know, eat, or when now at this point got back to some type of normalcy. I'm just so grateful for you. I'm grateful to my family just for, you know, being there. And, you know, and I was just like, God, you really do love me. Like, I didn't, it's not that I didn't think so before, but the way He has guided me through this and pretty much all my life, I am just truly thankful. My job blessed me. They raised money for me. Like, who does that at a time like this? Everything is so tight, and we all trying to survive. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just so thankful, and I'm grateful. I'm just truly grateful. But yes, it's just been quite a journey at this point, and I don't know what this means for me. I mean, now I just try to do my best to be there for my children, be there for my family, and however I can help in any kind of way, that's just what I do. And most of the days now, I just, you know, I clean, or, you know what I'm saying, talk to others, or, so, you know, that's pretty much how it is, because I don't know how it's going to go from this point. And yeah, so basically that's just my MS diagnosis. I don't know if how I'm gonna do with the YouTube. This is basically just a diagnosis story. You can subscribe if you would like to. And again, I hope you guys are well. Please stay prayed up, and till next time, bye y'all. Remember, I told you I was gonna forget one of the symptoms I had. So my face went kind of dead on one side, and the other side was working. So it was kind of like similar to like Bell's palsy, and I didn't even notice it until my husband had pointed it out. So one side of my face was working, the other side wasn't. Had numbness in my bottom lip and numbness in the bottom row of my mouth, like my teeth, basically, like my gums. And yeah, so I forgot to mention that in the video, so I'm just telling you guys now. That's all.